With Donald Trump eyeing another term in the White House, one thing is crystal clear: immigration crackdowns are back on the table. From sweeping deportation raids to travel bans, Trump has made it known that his next administration would double down on removing undocumented immigrants. But the big question is, who's being targeted the most? Today on Globe Discoveries, we're counting down the top 10 countries facing mass deportation under Trump's immigration plan, based on current ICE data, DHS reports, and policy announcements. These nations could soon see tens of thousands of their citizens sent back home. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more engaging content. Number 10. Nigeria. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, has been flagged by U.S. immigration authorities for high numbers of visa overstays. According to Homeland Security reports, Nigerian nationals had one of the highest rates of overstaying visitor visas in the past 5 years. Under Trump's policies, those who've overstayed or remained undocumented may be among the first in line for deportation. In fact, during his previous administration, Nigeria was added to a list of nations facing travel restrictions, citing issues with identity verification and security cooperation. Although Nigeria is a U.S. ally in counterterrorism efforts, immigration concerns have strained relations. In 2020, Trump's administration placed immigration visa limits on Nigerians, which have yet to be fully lifted. If Trump returns to power, experts say that deportations to Nigeria could increase dramatically, especially for those with expired work or student visas. With visa compliance still under scrutiny, Nigerians in the U.S. may need to prepare for tougher immigration enforcement ahead. Number 9. El Salvador. El Salvador has long been on the radar of U.S. immigration authorities, especially due to concerns over gang activity and asylum fraud. According to ICE removal statistics, El Salvador ranks among the top 5 countries for deportations from the U.S. every year. During Trump's first term, MS-13 was used as a rallying cry for tougher border control and stricter deportation policies. Many Salvadorans fleeing violence sought asylum, but under Trump, asylum rules were tightened, leaving thousands at risk of removal. In 2025, if Trump's crackdown resumes, temporary protected status TPS for Salvadorans could be eliminated, putting nearly 200,000 people at risk of deportation, according to the Migration Policy Institute. Critics argue that deporting Salvadorans back to a country still grappling with violence and poverty is inhumane, but supporters of the plan say it's about restoring immigration order. Either way, El Salvador is bracing for a potential surge in forced returns. Number 8. Guatemala. Guatemala, another Central American nation, is no stranger to U.S. deportation flights. According to Department of Homeland Security reports, tens of thousands of Guatemalans have been deported annually, especially during the Trump administration. A major factor is the high volume of border apprehensions, with many Guatemalans attempting to enter the U.S. without documentation. Trump's approach focused on mass removals and limiting asylum claims, and many fear those policies will be reinstated. In 2019, Trump even threatened to cut off foreign aid to Guatemala if it didn't curb migration. This led to the controversial Safe Third Country Agreement, which allowed the U.S. to send asylum seekers back to Guatemala, a policy Biden later scrapped. If Trump returns, such agreements could be revived, meaning more Guatemalans could face immediate removal regardless of their asylum claims. With a fragile economy and rising violence back home, many deportees could face danger upon return. Like El Salvador, Guatemala is expected to be heavily impacted by any renewed deportation efforts, especially with enforcement targeting entire families, not just single adults. Number 7. Honduras. Honduras has become a key focus of U.S. deportation policy, particularly under Trump's immigration crackdown. According to ICE statistics, thousands of Honduran nationals were deported annually during his presidency, making the country one of the top 3 deportation destinations. The driving factors? Gang violence, poverty, and political instability have led many Hondurans to seek refuge in the U.S. But Trump's policies viewed many of these migrants as illegal entrants, not asylum seekers, leading to swift removals and reduced legal pathways. If Trump returns, immigration advocates warn that temporary protected status TPS for Hondurans could be at risk. According to Human Rights Watch, ending TPS would expose over 57,000 Hondurans to possible deportation, many of whom have lived in the U.S. for decades. The impact on Honduran communities is enormous. Many families are being separated by deportation orders, while others live in fear of raids or workplace arrests. The anticipated policies for 2025 suggest a return to rapid deportations and zero-tolerance enforcement. Number 6. China. Surprisingly, China has been placed under scrutiny due to diplomatic tensions, visa fraud, and espionage concerns. According to Homeland Security reports, Chinese nationals have faced increased visa cancellations and deportation orders since Trump launched a crackdown on alleged intellectual property theft. During his presidency, Trump issued executive orders targeting Chinese students and researchers, especially in science and technology fields. Accusations of spying led to visa revocations for thousands of Chinese graduate students, according to Reuters. Many students and workers reported being denied entry or detained at airports, even with valid visas. Trump's proposed immigration agenda for 2025 suggests a renewed focus on national security, with China likely to face continued scrutiny and higher deportation rates. Diplomatic ties between the U.S. and China remain strained, and any immigration-related policies will likely reflect broader geopolitical tensions. If Trump tightens the reins again, Chinese nationals, especially those in academia, could see increased removals and restricted access to the U.S. With mutual distrust at an all-time high, deportations of Chinese nationals may not just increase. They could become symbolic of a deeper international divide. Number 5. India. India might come as a surprise on this list, but it has seen a growing number of deportation cases in recent years. According to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, visa overstays and unauthorized employment have triggered an uptick in deportation orders for Indian nationals. One key issue is the misuse of student and work visas, particularly in the tech sector. Trump's prior administration was already clamping down on H-1B visa programs, and a renewed focus on immigration enforcement could make Indian professionals prime targets once again. Many Indians living in the U.S. legally, but with expired documents, may be caught up in broad enforcement actions, especially if Trump follows through on his plan for mass deportations in 2025. According to the Economic Times, over 10,000 Indian nationals were deported during his previous term. Though India and the U.S. maintain strong diplomatic ties, immigration policy has created friction. If Trump returns to office, the combination of stricter visa rules and national security vetting could put thousands of Indian migrants at risk. Number 4. Haiti. Haiti remains one of the most vulnerable nations impacted by U.S. deportation policy, especially under Trump's hardline stance. According to the Migration Policy Institute, Haitian nationals have faced some of the highest deportation rates in the Western Hemisphere. Many Haitians living in the U.S. have relied on temporary protected status (TPS), which Trump attempted to revoke during his first term. If re-elected, he has signaled he will resume efforts to end TPS protections, which could affect over 50,000 Haitians currently residing in the U.S. The humanitarian crisis in Haiti, marked by political collapse, gang violence, and natural disasters, has not deterred Trump's strict policies. Deportations have continued even during national emergencies, prompting criticism from human rights organizations and the UN. Despite the Biden administration's attempt to soften the approach, Trump's plan for 2025 could include accelerated deportation flights and the revocation of legal protections for Haitians with pending cases or temporary status. If enforced, this policy shift would not only disrupt thousands of families, but also strain an already overwhelmed Haitian government, unable to safely receive returning citizens. Number 3. Mexico. Mexico has always been at the center of U.S. immigration debates, and under Trump's proposed 2025 crackdown, it's expected to face even more aggressive deportation efforts. According to ICE enforcement data, Mexico consistently ranks as the top country for removals, with tens of thousands deported annually. Trump has repeatedly promised to build the wall and deport millions, much of which is focused on undocumented Mexican nationals. With tighter border controls, mass raids, and increased interior enforcement, undocumented migrants from Mexico are already facing intense scrutiny. Many Mexican nationals are long-term residents in the U.S., contributing to communities and economies. But under Trump's plan, even those with minor infractions or expired documents could be prioritized for removal. According to the Migration Policy Institute, this could lead to the largest wave of deportations in modern history, disproportionately impacting Mexican families. The renewed push to detain and deport would also strain U.S. Mexico relations, especially if large-scale removals resume. Number 2. Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is now emerging as a key country in Trump's immigration enforcement plans, largely due to visa overstays and undocumented migration through the southern U.S. border. According to ICE enforcement data, deportations to the Dominican Republic have risen steadily, and that trend is expected to accelerate. One reason the country is in the spotlight is the growing number of Dominican nationals with expired visitor and student visas. Trump's previous term saw increased scrutiny on individuals who had legally entered but remained after their visas expired, and similar actions are expected if he returns to office. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, more Dominican nationals have been apprehended at the border in recent years, often through secondary routes via Mexico and Central America. This has made them a target for expedited removal under proposed Trump policies. The impact could be severe. Families may be separated, long-time residents may lose protection from deportation, and entire communities could feel the effects of mass enforcement. Advocacy groups warn that Trump's renewed agenda could lead to record high deportations for Dominicans in 2025. If implemented, this crackdown would not only strain families, but could also challenge U.S.-Dominican relations, especially in the areas of labor, trade, and diaspora support. Number 1. Venezuela. Venezuela tops the list as the country most likely to face widespread deportations under Trump's 2025 immigration plan. With over 545,000 Venezuelans residing in the U.S. as of 2024, many of them under Temporary Protected Status (TPS), the community is especially vulnerable. According to the Washington Post, Trump has previously attempted to block TPS protections, calling them a loophole. During his first term, Trump was vocal about his intent to deport Venezuelans who entered the country unlawfully, even those fleeing political and economic disaster. Now, with growing anti-immigration rhetoric and a renewed emphasis on enforcement, TPS could be rescinded, forcing tens of thousands into deportation proceedings. While the Biden administration expanded protections for Venezuelans, Trump's return could undo those measures, viewing them as part of what he calls open border policies. Immigration advocates warn that many deportees would be sent back to a country still suffering from hyperinflation, authoritarian rule, and humanitarian collapse. According to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services (USCIS), over 242 Venezuelans currently benefit from TPS, and their future now hangs in the balance. A policy reversal in 2025 would likely trigger a humanitarian crisis, both in the U.S. and Venezuela. From Mexico to Venezuela, Trump's 2025 immigration agenda could result in massive deportations, targeting both recent arrivals and long-time residents. With plans to remove millions of undocumented immigrants, the impact on families, communities, and international relations could be devastating. Many of the individuals at risk have built lives, businesses, and families in the U.S., but could soon face detention or forced removal. According to the Migration Policy Institute, these deportation efforts would require unprecedented resources, sparking legal challenges and public outcry. Whether you support stricter enforcement or favor compassionate reform, one thing is clear: Trump's immigration plans could redefine America's relationship with the world and its own people. Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more revealing insights from Globe Discoveries.